Darkness loomed over the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix, casting a shadow that would forever change the world of Formula One. What unfolded on that fateful day left even the legendary commentator Murray Walker speechless, his voice cracking with emotion as he struggled to describe the horror that had unfolded before his eyes. It was a weekend that would go down in history as the Black Weekend, a tragic moment in the racing world that would leave an unforgettable mark on the sport. The stage was set for an intense competition, with Michael Schumacher having won the first 2 races of the season, driving for Benetton. Ayrton Senna, a 3-time world champion, was desperate for a win too, since he has not yet scored a single point. For Senna, this 3rd round of the European season was the beginning of his championship, a race against time to claim his 4th title. To achieve this, Senna had to make a bold move from McLaren to Williams for the 1994 season, seeking a more powerful car that would boost his chances of claiming his 4th title. However, the FIA's introduction of new regulations aimed at reducing technological advancements in Formula One cars sparked concern amongst drivers. Senna, who was among them, said this could lead to a lot of accidents during racing. But who would have known that his prescient warning would come to pass in the most tragic ways? As the championship kicked off, a sense of unease settled over the paddock, and it only took a few days for disaster to strike. On a tragic Friday of April 29, 1994, during free practice for the San Marino Grand Prix held at Imola, Italy, an horrifying incident was about to happen. Rocky Brazilian driver and Senna's close friend, Rubens Barrichello, was involved in a car crash. Senna had mentored and inspired Barrichello to become a race driver, so the two were like best friends. In a heart-stopping moment of the race, Barrichello lost control of his car at a staggering 225 km/h, his vehicle erupting into a mangled mess of metal and debris. As Rubens lay unconscious, his tongue blocked his airway. In a display of unwavering friendship, Senna rushed to Barrichello's side as soon as the wreckage had settled. The relief was overwhelming as Barrichello finally regained consciousness, his injuries mercifully limited to a broken nose. With his friend on the road to recovery, Ayrton Senna's thoughts returned to the race at hand, unaware of what awaited him on the track. Rubens Barrichello's crash marked the beginning of a chain of events that would forever alter the course of Formula One history. Later on that same day, during the qualifying race session of the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola, another terrible event was waiting to happen. This was meant to be the 2nd career race of Austrian driver Roland Ratzenberger. With his sights set on outperforming Senna, the 3-time world champion, he was ready to surpass his limit. In just his 2nd Formula One race, Austrian driver Roland Ratzenberger aimed to outshine Ayrton Senna, the 3-time world champion. However, disaster struck again when he lost control of his car while racing at a breathtaking speed of 314 km/h. Ratzenberger slammed into a concrete wall with tremendous force, sending shockwaves across the circuit. Unknown to Ratzenberger, his car had sustained damage earlier when he drove over a curb, compromising the integrity of his front wing. As the wreckage of Ratzenberger's car came to rest, an eerie silence descended upon the track. The severity of the crash was immediately apparent, and concern for the driver's well-being spread rapidly amongst the spectators and fellow racers. Ayrton Senna, a man who cared deeply for the safety of his peers, took it upon himself to investigate the scene, using a safety car to navigate the track. Senna's actions were met with criticism from race management, but he remained steadfast in his commitment to uncovering the truth. "At least someone cared about safety," Senna retorted, his words dripping with disdain for the officials' apparent indifference. Unknown to Senna, Ratzenberger had perished upon impact, but the truth was withheld to prevent the cancellation of the race and the subsequent financial losses that would ensue. You see, Italian law dictated that any event involving a tragedy must be suspended until the circumstances were clarified, a prospect that threatened the sponsorship deals, global television broadcasts, and ticket sales surrounding the Formula One race. Emotional and anguished, Senna was approached by the head doctor of Formula One, who also happened to be a close friend. The doctor posed a question that could have changed the course of history. "You are the fastest man around here. You've won the championship so many times. Why don't we both quit and go fishing?" Senna pondered the proposition, grappling with his emotions and the weight of his responsibilities as a professional driver. Ultimately, his answer was decisive. "I have to go on." Senna's dedication to his craft, his determination to see the race through to its conclusion, was unwavering. Little did he know what awaited him on the track. On the 1st of May 1994, just 2 days after the death of Roland Ratzenberger, Ayrton Senna led the race at the Autodromo Enzo A. Dino Ferrari in Imola, Italy, marking the beginning of the European leg of the Formula One season. The Williams team arrived at Imola with modified FW16S to improve handling and aid Senna's pursuit of another championship victory. On that Sunday morning, Senna engaged in a crucial conversation with his former rival, Alain Prost. Their mission? To re-establish the Grand Prix Drivers Association, a union dedicated to improving safety in Formula One. Prost, now a media presenter after retiring in 1993, lent his support. And so, Senna, the most senior driver in the field, pledged to lead the charge, starting from the next race in Monaco. As the race approached, Senna took an Austrian flag with him, intending to honor Roland Ratzenberger, who had tragically lost his life the previous day. The race commenced with Senna maintaining his lead against rival Michael Schumacher. However, a start line accident involving J.J. Leto's Benetton Ford and Pedro Lami's Lotus Mugen Honda led to the deployment of the safety car, a sporty Opel Vectra. As the race resumed on lap 6, Senna set a brisk pace, achieving the third fastest lap of the race. However, on lap 7, his car veered off the track at Tamburello Corner, reaching speeds of approximately 307 km/h before colliding with a concrete retaining wall at around 233 km/h. Telemetry later revealed that Senna had applied the brakes for about 2 seconds before impact. The red flag was raised following the crash, and within 2 minutes, Professor Sid Watkins and his medical team extracted Senna from the wreckage. Senna had suffered a weak heartbeat, significant blood loss from a ruptured temporal artery, and lost 90% of his blood volume. Due to his critical neurological condition, Watkins performed an on-site tracheotomy, and Senna was airlifted to Bologna's Maggiore Hospital for further treatment. As Senna's fate hung in the balance, the world collectively held its breath, waiting for news about the beloved Formula One icon. Little did they know that Senna suffered a devastating blow to the right side of his helmet, forcing his head against the headrest. A piece of upright attached to the wheel partially penetrated his helmet, leaving a large indentation on his forehead. Adding to the severity, a jagged piece of the assembly pierced the visor just above his right eye. Senna sustained fatal skull fractures, brain injuries, and a ruptured temporal artery, any one of which could have proved fatal, as stated by Fiandri. At 1840 Cest, Maria Teresa Fiandri, the head of the hospital's emergency department, made the heartbreaking announcement. Ayrton Senna had succumbed to his injuries. According to Italian law, the official time of death was recorded as 1417 Cest, the moment Senna's car collided with the wall, rendering his brain inactive. Professor Sid Watkins later revealed that upon seeing Senna's fully dilated pupils, he knew the Formula One icon would not survive. The aftermath of the crash was captured in photographs taken by Senna's friend, Angelo Orsi, Autosprint's picture editor. In a display of respect for Senna and his family, these images were never made public. The loss of Ayrton Senna left an indelible mark on the world of Formula One and served as a catalyst for much-needed changes in safety regulations and standards, demonstrating how one tragic event could change the course of an entire sport. The untimely death of Ayrton Senna resonated deeply with fans worldwide, particularly in his home country of Brazil, where it was regarded as a national tragedy. The government declared 3 days of mourning to honor their fallen hero, while the Italian Air Force offered to fly Senna's coffin back to Brazil, a gesture respectfully declined by the Senna family in favor of a Brazilian plane. In Sao Paulo, over 500,000 people took to the streets to pay their respects, forming the largest funeral procession the city had ever witnessed. More than 200,000 people filed past Senna's body as it lay in state at the Legislative Assembly building in Ibirapuera Park. Notable figures from the world of motor racing attended Senna's state funeral on May 5th, bidding farewell to a legend who had left an unforgettable mark on the sport. Despite his tragic end, Senna's influence on Formula One remains unwavering, shaping the sport through his unrelenting passion for excellence and fierce determination. Through the laughter and tears, the triumphs and tragedies, Ayrton Senna will always be remembered as an incomparable force on and off the track, with a passion that burned brighter than the flames of his car's exhaust.